Hello from a cabin in the middle of the woods. My name is Will, I'm the host of the Board Book Geek. Like, sub, do the usual, and if you want exclusive and early access to my content, feel free to become a channel member or join my Patreon. Either or is great. But don't have to if you don't want to, let's be real. Let's talk about gaming. This has been on my mind for a long time. And please forgive any sound or noises. I'm literally recording this by a fire, and you're going to get some crackling and pops and whistles. I'm sorry. But as a gamer, in now, most of the games I play are either sort of Nintendo titles, because who doesn't love some Zelda or some Pokemon or some Super Mario, or indie games. I've found some amazing games from indie developers that are small, and games that I didn't think I would like, but I've taken a risk on. Like, there's so much creativity out there, yet the big AA studios seem to be falling flat, and that's what I want to talk about. So, just sit with me by the fire and we'll talk about the gaming industry and why it sucks in 2024. Being a gamer in 24 kind of sucks. And we live in an age with like near photorealistic graphics, beautiful games mostly, and yet they're plagued by issues. And these issues are getting lost in the discussion. Yes, Sweet Baby Inc., DIE, and all of that stuff, and politics are all playing a role, but these issues seem to be not being talked about. And I want to talk about it. And what I see as someone who's been gaming since he was 5 years old on his Sega Genesis and his Game Boy. You know, let's talk about it. It's almost become routine that new games are riddled with bugs and performance issues. The days where a game was thoroughly tested and polished before release are fading away. And yes, there were unpolished Broken Rush games that came out back in the 90s and 2000s before all of this. But let's be real, you often knew what you were getting because gaming journalism seemed a little bit more honest. I mean, who remembers Bugsy 3D? Let's be honest there. Someone bought me that game. It's so bad. It's so funny. But games launch are half-baked. Half the game is missing. Players are acting as unwilling testers for the game. The trend is evident with major AA titles where bugs, crashes, and unplayable moments are almost expected at launch. And I say this, you see it in the forums, Reddit, Discord servers, where developers are involved, because they're looking at all this stuff. The player is 9 times out of 10 acting as the tester, and it shouldn't be that way. The pressure to meet deadlines, coupled with the need to beat competitors to the market, leads to these broken releases. This affects both single-player and multiplayer experiences, and I don't really play multiplayer games. I'm not an online gamer. And the frustration is even worse, because these bugs aren't just minor glitches. Often they're game-breaking. Save files deleted, ruin the experience, destroy the progress, crash your games console, get stuck in a wall, fall through a floor. Come on. Can we just talk about that? Another sore point for me is the skyrocketing price of games and the relentless push for microtransactions. Base game prices have increased. And I'll talk in American terms because most of my audience is American. Brits don't watch my channel. It's about $70 or more, and yet the players are expected to pay even more for additional content. Season passes, DLC, downloadable content, cosmetic packs, in-game currency purchases. And honestly, some games feel like an endless money pit, and a lot of that stems over from the rise of mobile gaming because people got used to microtransactions. Can we not do that? And the result is this weird paradox where players spend more up front, yet encounter paywalls for content that feels essential. And that I really detest. I'll pick on a game, Watch Dogs Legion. I really enjoyed that game, despite its mixed reception. I don't think it was that good a game, but I enjoyed it. The DLC pack was better than the game with Aiden. That was fantastic. Like, why wasn't that the game and the main game the DLC? Like, it should have been the other way round. And I did buy that, but I got it free. And honestly, this is happening more and more. You can't complete a story without paying X amount of money towards it. And now, it's just ridiculous. Even after paying full price, you're still having to buy these add-ons. And games are increasingly designed with these microtransactions in mind, and it pushes players towards spending more money to fully enjoy the experience. And I will repeat that over and over again. And then the rise of predatory monetization. Loot boxes, battle passes, pay-to-win mechanics continue to play games, especially in free-to-play mobile. But now we're seeing it in AA games and big releases and studio games. And these practices play on players' psychology, often making it nearly impossible to enjoy a game without spending additional money. Even worse, it creates a competitive imbalance. Those who spend more have a clear advantage over those who don't. This trend has led to increasing... trying to think of a good word. Scrutiny, that's a good word for games and even lawmakers. However, despite the backlash, these practices remain, and games aimed at children, especially from Western developers, seem to have them. The focus has shifted from delivering a great game to finding ways to maximise revenue per player, which can make the game feel like a cash grab rather than a source of entertainment. And the gaming marketing in 2024 has reached a new level of overhype. Trailers, teasers, promises from developers often paint a picture that doesn't match reality. How many games have we seen that are stunning visuals and ambitious gameplay mechanics talked about in trailers and people that may not be feasible, and eventually scaled back before release? This creates a cycle of disappointment. Games rarely live up to the hype and the expectations set by the marketing. These unfulfilled promises leave players feeling burnt, especially after pre-ordering or buying a game on day one based on a misleading marketing campaign. The lack of transparency in gaming development is a problem, and the absence of accountability from publishers only adds to the fuel to the fire. Gaming right now, especially from Eastern Japan, China and Korea, there seems to be a lot of new, fresh, brilliant ideas, but the Western market, and these, by the way, these problems are not exclusive to Western games. This is a thing across the board. But these issues seem more prominent in Western gaming. Broken games at launch, day one patches, getting your disc from the store and putting it in your console, and then waiting 4.5 hours so you can download it. Oh, to finish the game you need to spend another $50? It's predatory. And overhyped marketing, it's kind of just all made this industry just feel boring. And as a gamer, we need to vote with our wallets, support developers and publishers who prioritize quality and player satisfaction over money and trying to get as much out of you as possible. Set realistic expectations. And I'm going to say this. The gaming industry has so many problems. I honestly think, no matter how flashy and beautiful a game looks, if the gameplay and the story and all the stuff that really makes me come back to games isn't there, what's the point? You can make a game that's flashy and beautiful, but if it's half-baked, broken, hidden behind paywalls, what's the point in spending that money on a new game? And with the industry trying to deal with stop second-hand game sales and the eventual end of physical media, there is a problem here.